Some of my thoughts on communism, socialism. Actually, to me, socialism is pretty much the same as communism. It always leads to communism. And when you hear some of the buzzwords of socialism, like social justice and progressive, what they're telling you is that they're communist. Those are communist buzzwords. So don't believe it. They're progressive, yes, into communism. That's what they're progressive. Social justice is communism. They didn't just discover that. Stalin and Marx had those names too. So don't be fooled by these socialists. In their mind, they're actually communist. Now, whether they actually are card-carrying communists, I don't know, but their thoughts and their actions are communist. You can't change it. That's what it is. If it looks like a duck and acts like a duck, quacks like a duck, then it's a duck. And that's what communism is. I notice that all the communists out there, I don't call them socialist anymore. I just call them communist. Bernie Sanders and every one of them, Cortez, all of them, they love to say that there'll be free college. That's what they pull people in by saying things are free, but it's a lie. Nothing is free. Somebody's got to pay for it. But they like to say the word. That's how they pull you in. See, they're going fishing is what they're doing. So don't fall for their traps. When they say free college, well, here's the catch to it. They don't tell you that once you're in free college, all your professors and teachers are all communist. So they got you right there. That's why they say it's free, because they're looking at future communists. They know the minute you go into college or universities or the schooling that they're agents, communist agents, or teachers, professors. They're communist. And they know that you'll be fed communist ideas. So that's why it's free. But really, it's not free. In the end, it's not free. It's death to your soul and to your body. You know, I have to kind of, I kind of have to think to myself, not laugh, but in a way kind of laugh. A lot of these socialist, communists, they like to say that they love animals, you know. I have a little socialist in my family that just loves animals. And I told her, I said, no, you don't. You don't love animals. You hate them. And I'll tell you why. When communism comes in and takes over a country, they will, first of all, they kill Christians. Anything that looks like a Christian, they'll kill them. And then they go on to landowners, business people, and if they don't give them their property and their business and their money, they kill them too. So what they haven't killed, the leftovers, they starve to death. They starve them. And they end up, like in Venezuela, they end up eating their pets. Then they go into the zoos and eat the animals there because they're starving, they're hungry. So don't tell me you love animals. Don't tell me that. You hate them. Because if you vote along with the communists, you are bringing death to animals that you say you love, much less people. So don't lie to me and say you love animals. No, you don't. It's a lie. Look at Venezuela. Now, I was old enough to see when Cuba was taken over, and some of the Russia, they used to call it, in Russia, they used to call it the Iron Curtain. You don't hear that word anymore, but they called it an Iron Curtain. And they closed it off, like China did too. And then they just start the slaughter. They just kill and kill and kill. Do you know, they talk about how bad Hitler is, which he was very wicked. He murdered 6 million. Now, not all of them were Jews, you know. There was a lot of Christians, also gypsies. So, but they leave that out. The Jews leave that out, but that's okay if that's what they want to do. But they always say, never forget, always remember. And that's true. He was a wicked man, but he killed, Hitler must have slaughtered, they say. Now, when I was a teenager, it was like 3 million. Now it's up to 6 million. So I don't know, you know. But let's say 6 million. Do you know that communism, compared, that communism has slaughtered 300 million and counting? They're still killing them. 300 million. Mm-hmm. We should never forget that. Why isn't that brought up? Why? But we always hear about Hitler's. But we never hear about the 3 million and counting that have been slaughtered under communism. So, I just thought that, I think that's kind of funny why they don't do it. Now, I know who started communism. I know who the father of communism is. And that could be the reason why. And you could figure that one out. Just look at the last names, find out where they come from, and you'll know the fathers of communism. So that you could research yourself. We have to remember those also. And they're still killing Christians. Yep, they're still doing it. Communism. We must stop the scourge of communism in our country. Young people, don't buy their lies. Like I told that person in my family, don't listen to those professors. They're communist. And I was laughed at, you know. But wait till she's starving, or wait till she has to give up her money, her job, and everything. Then she'll say, well, maybe old grandma was right. I pray it never gets there. But young people, don't listen to these liars. Bernie Sanders is a vile man. He knows he's not a socialist. Are you kidding? He tries to soft pedal. You know, it might look good on paper, but when you put it in action, it's always death. It's always kill, kill, kill. When you put it in action. Maybe in paper it looks good, I don't know. Bernie Sanders, he's in his 70s. He knows better. That's what makes him particularly vile. He knows better. He's been to Russia. He knows the lines that people stand in to get a loaf of bread. How would you like to not have any toilet paper? And when you do get toilet paper, it's rough. You know, you might as well use a corn cob. Little things like that you don't get. So you really need to think about it. Don't believe it. It sounds good. It looks good. But I tell you, there's an evil shadow behind it. It's wicked and it's deadly. So think about it for you people that have a tendency to be Democrats, because they have infiltrated the Democratic Party. What a shame. And I'm sure they're going to try to infiltrate all the parties, Republican. That's how they do. They don't, in this country, they don't come in and take over because we have arms, but they infiltrate. They've infiltrated our government. They've infiltrated both parties. They've infiltrated the churches. Yeah, the churches too. It's also an atheistic form of government too. So don't be deceived. Learn the earmarks of communism. Learn the buzzwords. Watch and learn. I recommend people to leave the Democratic Party because it's been taken over by communists. So I would certainly, if you're a Democrat and you continue to vote Democrat, you're not only okaying the slaughter of unborn babies, now born, you're putting your stamp of approval on it, but you're also putting your stamp of approval on communism. And if you call yourself a Christian and you're doing that, nope, God's not going to be happy with you at all. So if you're even born again, how can you vote for a party that is okay with abortions up to 9 months and after? How could you do that? Call yourself a Christian? I don't think so. I really do question that. Anyway, you know, study, research, find out what communism really is. It's in the shadows. They creep along in the shadows, like Bernie Sanders. He creeps in the shadows. You know, but he's not fooling me. I'll tell you what, if Venezuelans ever came over, flooded our country, fleeing their country, you could bet it would end the Democratic Party, because they certainly wouldn't vote for Democrats, because it's too much like socialism, communism. Anyway, on that cheery little note, I just pray that people start waking up. And if you're a Democrat, you need to think about these things. I'm not saying to join any party. I don't, that's up to you. But I definitely wouldn't stick with the Democratic Party at this point. So just pray about it. Think about it. Do your own research. And make your own decision. Thank you. Bye-bye.